Hello, my friends. Welcome into your monthly Pick a Card Tarot reading. Some of you may be wondering what the heck I'm doing here, because a few weeks back I made an announcement saying that I was completely stepping away from this YouTube channel to focus my energy on my illustration business and tarot readings for my clients for that business. But I realized after pulling my energy completely back from this channel and from reading tarot in a local metaphysical shop, I really missed reading for people outside of my business. And so I have decided for the foreseeable future for now that I do have capacity to continue doing monthly readings. So I will show up here once a month to do a monthly forecast reading. And if I have extra time, and if you'd like to see another pick a card reading throughout the month, maybe that will be bonus readings that I post if I have the time and the capacity. Please comment below and let me know which topics or themes you're interested in me reading for. I'd love to get that feedback just to know what you all have questions about and what you would like me to read upon. So, with that all out of the way, if you are ready to jump into your reading today, you can find the timestamps for all of the soul paths in the description box. And anything else you'd like to know about me, the decks that I'm using today, and any other links that might interest you, it's all there. Remember that these readings are always here to offer you insight and not instruction, so please take what resonates and lovingly leave the rest. If any of the messages resonate, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear that. However, if they aren't resonating, remember that they are general and they will not fit for everyone. So if you are ready to hop into your reading, timestamps are in the description. However, if you'd like me to introduce you to the soul paths today, let me do that right now. For Soul Path 1, we have creativity. For Soul Path 2, we have guidance. For Soul Path 3, we have wisdom. And when you feel called and ready, head down into the description box to find the timestamps, and we will see you in your soul path. Hello, Soul Path 1. Welcome into your reading. You chose creativity, and I'm going to leave this mystery card off to the side for now. We will look at it at the end of your reading. And actually, I would like to get an opener card for you, just to kind of get some possible themes for the month. Strongest, we're only going to do one. For Soul Path 1, please. Temptation, alluring thoughts and actions. So something could be tempting you in the month of June. There could be a lot of choices you have to make. There could be a lot of opportunities as well. And you might be pulled in multiple directions with something. You might even take an action that surprises you. So let's get a feel for what's going on for you in the month of June. For Soul Path 1. Maybe you have a couple of creative projects happening and you're being pulled in multiple directions. This could be a very busy month for you, creatively speaking. I see someone going to different events or maybe having shows somewhere and you just being pulled in multiple directions, having lots on the go. So there's a busyness to this temptation. It's like you're tempted to do a lot of things all at once. Just be sure to watch your energy and making sure that you are finding that balance. So let's take a look at what you're currently dealing with. One card, please, for Soul Path 1. What are they currently dealing with? Okay, Knight of Pentacles in reverse. We're going to get we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Sorry, just to clarify, I got a little sidetracked. Knight of Pentacles in reverse is the energy that is leaving, or the energy that is in your immediate past. And the Seven of Pentacles in reverse is what you're currently dealing with, either in this moment or will be very shortly in the month of June. And let's get an energy for outcome, more general guidance for the month, maybe where you're headed. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse. Underlying energy is the Six of Pentacles. Just going to move this out of the way. Six of Pentacles. Okay. So I mentioned balance at the very beginning there. There's something here that you're feeling a little, somebody's taking advantage of you, or there's not, what you're putting your time and energy into is not being reciprocal or being returned in some way. So I don't know if this has to do with your creative business, with a project that you're working on, or maybe something to do with finances as well. Anywhere where you're currently spending your time, energy, money. Now, yeah, this makes you consider something, making a big decision to walk away. But I don't think that's actually going to happen in the month of June. This could just be an underlying thought. Maybe you're coming to realize that something is imbalanced. That was a hard word for some reason. So yeah, maybe it is difficult to get to some kind of resolution or find some kind of balance in a particular situation. It's almost like you're moving backwards with something. So I think this is leaving. This is the energy that maybe May was in your immediate past. This is the stuff that's being left behind and the stuff that is now kind of out of the way or moving out of the way. There's some stagnancy with this Knight of Pentacles and inability to focus on something. And yeah, just an underlying feeling of something's not being reciprocated here. So maybe you're putting your time and energy into something and you're not seeing any results. You're not seeing any movement. You're not seeing any indication that something is progressing here. Something has stalled. So in the month of June, it's interesting that both of these are Saturn energy, and Saturn can be about restriction. But whenever these cards are in reverse, I like to think of it as a retrograde, if you will. And when Saturn is in retrograde, this is about self-discipline and maybe even reflection or an integration of lessons. This is also an opportunity to address something that is unresolved or has not been looked at yet in fine detail, especially when it comes to the external world, your environment, your finances, etc. Something here needs to be addressed because it's because something hasn't been working in the way that you've needed it to, and it may have been overlooked, possibly because your focus was elsewhere in the month of May. So this sort of Saturn retrograde energy is taking a look at your values. Are you in alignment in taking action with those values in mind, or is there some kind of misalignment there? Also, are you putting your time and energy, possibly even money, into the things that are providing value to you or for you? Or for an example, if you're investing your money in education, you want to make sure that you're going to be seeing some results, or you're going to be learning something, and that education doesn't have to be college. It can be a workshop or a course that you take on. Are you getting what you're paying for, is the feeling that I'm getting with this card. So there's a need to kind of step back and analyze something. And I think it has something to do with where you've placed your focus in May. And that has kind of created some kind of misalignment or an imbalance of things. In your future, again, we have more Saturn retrograde energy, so it's almost like something has shifted where you've now identified your values, and it's time to identify the underlying emotions that are possibly driving that. So this isn't going to be a time of cutting things loose or making any big decisions that I can see. This is all very reflective energy. It is all kind of looking at unfinished business and those emotions that are falling in line with that or coming with that. So let's expand on this. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Let's get some more information on what this Knight is. We'll get two. Thank you. And they were both in the sideways position. Okay, so there could be a reason why things haven't or felt like they've progressed, is because a lot of things could very well be changing. And there's almost like a restructure of power here. And I don't know if that is you having more control over something in your life, or having more power, more say. more control over your vision of what you want for your life or your business. This feels like you're losing a little bit of, I want to say, footing or control here. And that's what I was feeling definitely right away with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. It's like something has stalled, something has stopped, or you are moving, it feels like you're moving backwards on something. But I think that might be a good thing, because there's some structures or some power structures that are needing to change, that are no longer able to work in a particular environment, or there's a strategy that could be changing as well. But definitely there's a lot of foundational work that is happening underneath that you may not understand at the moment. So you can only see what's occurring in the external, but really there's a lot of things changing, possibly within a business, within a company, within a team structure, or with you feeling like you don't have control, especially when it comes to outcomes and results. It's like, I think there's a challenge here, an underlying challenge, that this Knight of Pentacles in reverse is bringing up for you. It could possibly be a trigger, which may be why the Seven of Pentacles is in reverse too, is because something needs to be addressed or pruned or looked at, and it's like it finally comes to the surface that maybe I do need to look at that. And here we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Swords in reverse as well. So definitely some decisions that I feel you may have been avoiding, and now they're kind of coming up in a really big way in the month of June. And there will be some tough decisions that you have to make, even though you might not have clarity on which one is the correct one. So I think that's why this emotional exploration is going to be happening, is because this comes to the surface, but you're almost not ready, or it's something that you've tried to avoid up until now, but here it is. And there's the imbalance. So it is an underlying energy for June, but it's also part of this decision making that's happening, because something is coming to the surface here. There is something of values that is coming to the surface that you are being, I don't want to say forced, but encouraged to look at, whether you like it or not. This almost feels like a resistance, or a apprehension to assess something or look at something here in great detail. It's almost like you instinctively know what decision you have to make, and that's maybe why you're trying to do it a different way, but unfortunately it's going to need to be done in a very direct, straightforward way, is the feeling that I'm getting here. So this Eight of Cups in reverse. Eight of Cups in reverse. Oh, interesting. There's the Seven of Pentacles again. So you definitely come to, at the end of the month, you come to realize that you have to make some tough decisions, and that you can no longer ignore it or put it away or put it aside and just forge ahead, because you're not able to see progress here. Now the two cards here is interesting progress cards here. So we have the World in reverse and the Six of Swords in reverse. Again, there's more resistance here, so I think there are some things that you are going to be wrapping up in a bigger way. So middle of the month, you're kind of feeling like, I know I got to deal with this, but I just need a little more time. And then you come to realize, like, okay, it's here. I really have to look at this in more detail, and I really have to start kind of digging deep for the answers. You know that certain things have to come to a close. You know that you have to maybe tie up loose ends, and there might be a little tumultuous energy that comes with that, because you have to go back over something. You have to review something. You have to make decisions on something, and it's to help tie up these loose ends and to integrate some kind of lesson here. But you will be successful, because we have the Six of Wands underneath the deck here. More sixes. So I think the energy at first is feeling a little imbalanced, which kicks off a whole series of thoughts and decisions and events that kind of lead to bigger things, more grandiose things, more profound things in the future. And I think you're going to look back and really understand what you were going through, what you had to do to kind of move into this new place, and you do feel good about the decisions that you made. I don't see any regrets. I see that you've gotten over sort of the worst of it on the other side of all of these things that are happening. A very celebratory month for you. And I do think that there's going to be a lot to celebrate. There's a lot of success here. There's a lot of kind of rewarded ambition as well. So even though you might be stepping backwards, know that that's a really good step to reassess things and making sure you're on the right path and in the best alignment as possible. Now, there could be some temptation here to either go back and stay where you are. That could be an energy that creeps in as well, because nobody wants to face the things that they know they have to do but don't want to do. So middle of the month, you could see that temptation sneak in. Because of the reversals, I just see a touch of vulnerability here, as well as with the Eight of Cups. So again, that's, you know, there's a temptation to try again, or there's a temptation to do it a different way, or yeah, there's some kind of temptation that might be pulling you off the path that is the most direct general feeling that I'm getting. But I think you're going to realize that, and you're going to realize that yes, you have to step back, but ultimately you have to make some tough decisions in order to move forward again. So let's look at the card at the very beginning of your reading. Come to the edge. Number 36, that could be a significant number for you, as well as the number 45. But yeah, this almost feels like a little bit of risk that you have to take here. And it is coming into the form of kind of leaning on that edge of discomfort. There's a risk here. This almost makes me feel like this is very Fool energy of not really worrying about what's next. It's all about kind of how you're feeling in the moment and what you're kind of leaning towards as well. So coming to the edge, there may be some, you know, challenges, but it's about meeting that challenge and facing that challenge to be able to continue to move and grow and expand and evolve. So I do hope that was helpful for you, my dear Soul Path 1. If they were, and it offered you some clarity, please share a comment. And until we meet again, hopefully at the end of next month, take care, and we'll see you soon. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Guidance Stone. And these we will reveal at the end of your reading. And you got 2. The other readings only got 1. So there could be multiple things going on, or there could be 2 different collectives that I'm reading for here. Soul Path 2, let's get a theme. 1 card, please, for Soul Path 2 for a theme. We have an obstacle. Number 32, overcoming a blockage on your path. So you could be up against a blockage or an obstacle, and you're trying to overcome that. I feel like in the month of June you are going to be overcoming an obstacle or a blockage here. And I don't know, this feels like a big obstacle, so it could have been quite a challenging one that you have climbed for quite some time. There could be a whole bunch of small ones too that you're overcoming. Let's get into your tarot reading now. We are going to get immediate past for Soul Path 2, please. Soul Path 2, please. Immediate past. Nine of Cups. You're looking good there. There's some things to be proud of. That's for sure. You're feeling good. This is your current, present day. You're feeling unsure about something, though. That's interesting. And immediate future. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. Okay, so for some reason, things kind of go, things feeling like they're going sideways here. And whatever this obstacle is, I think it's kind of, I don't know any specifics, just based on the moon. The moon is about secrets. You could be dealing with a secret that feels like a really big obstacle. it feels like something kind of, I don't know, is slowly illuminated. Something mysterious is up and coming for you in the month of June, in spite of your feeling good in your immediate past. Now, I think this is sort of leaving. This is the energy that's leaving. So for now, temporary. As you kind of move into the month of June, there's something definitely to be proud of here. So I think this energy is going to be needed in the upcoming month. Now, with the moon here, it's like there's a mystery. There is some secrets, some questions that you would like answered here. And I think it's going to require a little bit more of a journey than you're expecting. So there's some kind of surprise that comes with the moon. There's something that you have to navigate that you're quite unsure about. There's just a lot of unknowns here. And I think this is the obstacle, because you can't see the path in this card. It's like it's only illuminated by the moonlight, which is very faint. So it'll be about taking one step at a time and not looking at the entire obstacle, but the 1 foot in front of you, and taking very mindful, intentional steps moving forward, listening to your intuition. And some things within your subconscious may be getting challenged as well, where it's your beliefs that are coming through, these core beliefs that have lived with us for a very long time. And it's being challenged by your intuition, or maybe your values are being challenged. And you have to kind of go on a bit of a journey to discover that, to really find the answers that you're looking for. And it almost feels like an identity shift. And I don't think it's going to be a complete, you're not going to become a new person in the month of June, but I really feel like something's challenged you that makes you question who you are and what you bring to the world, even though you're coming into the month and went through the month of May in a very positive, optimistic position. But these two are both Pisces energies, very sensitive energies. So I think you're really sensitive to the energies around you and within you. So you could be seeing both sides of the coin, where you're feeling good about yourself or what you've achieved or the things that fulfill you, but then you're also questioning, is this mine? Is this someone else's? Is this truly who I am? And so I don't know if there's a trigger. We'll get more clarifying cards for that. But the end of the month here, it's like you can't find your footing. And I think it's because of you moving through this journey of questions, more questions than answers, and maybe even a dark night of the soul, where again, you're questioning where you are in life, where you want to be, who you are, who you want to be. And that completely throws you off course a little. That makes you feel really, I don't want to say unhinged, but you just don't know how to move forward now that you have brought some things to the surface, and you're now having to deal with that. We have more reference to the conscious and the subconscious here. If our subconscious is driving the conscious in ways that are not useful or helpful or healthy, then I think the month of June is going to highlight that in a very big way. And that's why the Chariot is in reverse, is because these two energies are misaligned or in imbalance in some way. So this is an opportunity to stop moving forward, to ask the hard questions, to be able to move forward in a more aligned or even authentic way. Bottom of the deck, I do think it's going to require you to really step into your soul, and that can mean just taking yourself out of the fray, of almost disconnecting, but not in an isolated way where you're completely pushing people away and isolating yourself. Although the Hermit can be that, this is kind of removing the distractions, is the kind of the modern day interpretation of the card, where you're removing distractions, you're getting back into listening to your own wisdom, the deep wisdom that only comes in stillness and quietude, when there's no phones, when there's no TVs, when there's no friends or family or children or dogs. It's kind of reserving that space for yourself to hear yourself think and to be able to parse out what's mine, what's somebody else's. And so I think that's going to be the underlying energy and the influence for the month of June. Because yeah, something gets shaken up and kind of shifted. And this energy is also a 9, which is the one we started with. So there's a lot of self reflection here, and you did choose guidance, and that is all about listening to your own inner guidance in the Hermit. So that could be quite an obstacle for you up and coming in the month of June. But let's expand this. For Soul Path 2, please. What is this Nine of Cups? Nine of Cups for Soul Path 2. Justice in reverse. Eight of Swords, yes. And Chariot. Did I say Ace of Swords? Eight of Swords. And the, yeah, okay. Okay, and the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. All right. So there's there's a lesson here I feel that you're meant to learn about yourself. There's some kind of judgment that you must release, because I think you might be really hard on yourself in spite of the fact that you're feeling very emotionally fulfilled and satisfied. There's something here that you're trying to, I don't know, bring into balance. And maybe in the external world, everything looks fine, everything looks good. Maybe you're telling people everything is fine, when really there's an underlying energy of judgment, maybe even doubt, or trying to find the truth in something, trying to bring something into balance. I'm going to need another card on that. We'll leave the Ten of Swords here. What else for the Nine of Cups and the Justice, please? One more. Page of Cups. So this could have something to do with your inner child and your inner child expression. You may be judging that inner child expression in a way that that you need not to. And I don't know what that is specifically, but it's kind of like you have to let the inner child out to play without judgment, without ridicule, without criticism. So there needs to be there's a playfulness that comes through, which I think will really help you feel connected to whatever it is that you are investing in here, whatever you're feeling. It's kind of like you have to act more on how you feel in a way that is very honest and very open. Maybe that's something that is new to you. That's very interesting. And speaking of interesting, Hermit reverse on the bottom of the deck. So there definitely could be some resistance to getting into this stillness, to finding moments of boredom. Now, with the Moon and the Eight of Swords, this is definitely going to be challenging your limiting beliefs, and maybe something about self-sabotage too. That might be coming through. So it's like just as much. So this is what I'm feeling here. It's like you've maybe won an award, and you've received an award, you've accepted an award, and on the outside you're grateful, you're celebrating, but on the inside there's something bubbling up, like, hey, shut that down, or you shouldn't be this happy, or there's something about self-worth that's coming through, and it's starting to get to you within the mind, and it's almost like I can't really do this anymore. There's something here that you're feeling you can no longer bear because it's very painful. And again, we talked about self-sabotage. It's kind of what I'm getting with the Ten of Swords here. It's like you kind of cutting yourself down when you celebrate, when you have something to celebrate, when you are prideful, when you are very confident about something. There's a negative that comes with that, and there's a judgment that comes with that. And I think it has some connection to your childhood. I think that's going to be a little bit of a highlight in June. Not the greatest thing to share with you, but I think it's necessary because it's going to really make you wiser. It's going to create a more stable foundation for you as an individual. And you can parse a lot of things out with this Moon card, asking all those tough questions. Being okay not knowing the path forward or not knowing the answers, but just kind of taking things one step at a time and not allowing yourself to feel stuck, not allowing yourself to sabotage looking at these difficult things so that you can really feel them and heal them in ways that you haven't before. So the Chariot in reverse, paired with the Four of Pentacles, even though it feels like you're not making progress, you're making progress that you cannot see. I feel like this is very foundational within your, maybe your home life, within your finances. So there could be, because we're talking about real life things here, you could be seeing some stability. Even in spite of the fact that things might feel a little sideways, you're able to really find your stability and to hang on to what's important, to really pare back your finances or your expenses in some way, because you're not seeing progress. So that is a trigger for you to kind of hold your position and also identify your position. Identify what foundation and security looks like to you, what comfort looks like to you. What stuckness feels like and looks like to you. There's a lot of kind of reflection energy that is happening here. But again, with this being Capricorn energy, this is about just doing the work one thing at a time, detail by detail, and not looking at the entire mountain. And you can only do that when you slow down, when you take pause even, to go within and ask yourself what the next correct action is. Not what are the next 10 correct actions, but what is the next correct one, to be able to put that foot a little bit more forward. But definitely I feel like something painful has been plaguing your mind for a very long time. There's lots of rumination energy. And maybe that's why the Hermit was in reverse underneath that, because it may not be comfortable for you to get into stillness. It may really bring up a lot of things. But in this case, I do feel like it's a positive thing. Now, I will say that if this is deep trauma that you're dealing with, to please go seek a professional to move through this with somebody. We do have two elements here. There's a dog and a wolf, so there's this wild instinct energy, and there's also somebody that's loyal that you can really lean on and bounce ideas off of, and to know that they will hold space for you and understand you and be loyal no matter what you have to share with them. So there's something about partnership and companionship for those who are really dealing with something they feel they can't manage on their own. But I think for the most of you, the stillness is going to be challenging, but that's the point. It's not meant to be comfortable, because there's certain things that need to be answered here to help you evolve and grow and move forward, to proceed with whatever it is you are proceeding with here. So with that, let's get on to your two cards that started your reading and that will now end your reading. So Thinker. We have more fours here. So again, this is about really giving yourself the time to think about things. This is very Hermit energy, and it's very Four of Swords energy. So give yourself time to think things through, to really ask the questions and explore. And again, I think that's going to be the obstacle, is that this may not be a comfortable space for you to deal in and deal with. So it could be challenging and an obstacle on multiple levels, but I do see you overcoming it. Now, in this space, this is also the Moon card, interesting enough, but in this space of unknowns, I think there's going to be a lot of things that you imagine in this space that maybe you've lost touch with. Maybe you've lost touch with your inner child, and this is getting you to see the things that you've lost touch with, to help you imagine again. And I almost wonder if there's this feeling of I've reached my peak, and what else is there? And that could be the trigger of I've accomplished everything I've accomplished for now. Now what? And that now what is a bigger question of where do I want to go now? I didn't think that I could be here, but now I'm here. How exciting. But at the same time, what else do I want to do? What else do I want to achieve and accomplish? Or who do I want to serve next? This is about imagining, and this is the fertile ground for you to imagine something new on the other side of this obstacle, and to not see the obstacle as insurmountable, but see it as a reflection point, as a stopping point to maybe go through some things, to see where you're feeling stuck or limited or restricted, and building up new foundations or maybe a new core belief system that can help you break free from these repetitive mind cycles that you might find yourself in. So this is about imagining bigger, imagining beyond, and it's interesting that we have kind of steps energy here, and she's stopped and kind of stuck on this one step, very Chariot in reverse energy. But then the stairs here are clear, and they're very, instead of them being kind of different sized blocks and different heights, you've got a very clear path forward. And you're reaching for the moon here. So yeah, it's almost like think bigger than where you are now is kind of the feeling that I'm getting with that. So that could be an opportunity for you as you move through this challenging energy. But it is guiding you in the right direction. You are guiding you, or will guide you in the right direction. Just trust in your own inner wisdom and shoot for the moon. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2. I hope that these were helpful and offered clarity. You can let me know in the comment section. And until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Wisdom Stone, or rock. And this we will leave for the end of your reading, but I will grab a theme card for you to start your reading, and then we'll get straight into tarot. For Soul Path 3, please. Theme for the month for Soul Path 3. Ooh, sneaky person. A person with a questionable moral compass. So there could be somebody that's trying to hide something from you. I think you're aware of who this person is if you are here and resonating with this already. I don't think it's going to be, I mean, this could be about scammers, so be aware of that. But this could also be somebody that you kind of have suspicions about. Maybe they're not being authentic or honest with you in some way. Maybe they have betrayed you and you're wondering whether you should get away from this person or not. Yeah, there's just somebody that you've seen in a new light, I think. And this person is on your mind a lot. And you're questioning, you know, do I keep them in my life? Do I move on? So I think that's going to be a bit of a theme. Yeah. Somebody has taken advantage of you. Definitely. This is something that you were dealing with in May, maybe sooner. But this is the energy that is leaving, which I think is a good thing. So month of June, let's see what you're going to be currently current very soon. Good. And then one more for immediate future. Well, that's good. That's good. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands, and we will get clarifiers in just a sec. I just want to talk about this. I do think there's going to be a good outcome. I think that if we are talking about a sneaky person that, you know, the relationship or the values were misaligned in some way, I think there's going to be a conversation that happens with this person. And they're going to be very receptive to it. Maybe they didn't even realize. I don't think this is a malicious person. Outside of the spam callers, of course. But I don't think this is a person that intentionally tried to do you wrong or intentionally tried to hurt you or betray you. I do see an imbalance, absolutely, or maybe they were taking advantage of you in some way. For the most of you, I think they didn't realize it because you may have not said anything. Other people, I do think that this is a person that just isn't even cognizant of it. I don't think there's any malicious intent where they were trying to take advantage of you. I think it just is a situation that got away from itself and it just built up over time. So now it's time to have the hard conversation of, you know, you took XYZ from me, or you're taking advantage of me in some way, and this needs to change. And I think that takes a lot of openness and vulnerability. Because maybe you're worried that this person is going to gaslight you in some way, and that could be possible. So just watch out for that, especially if they do something and are very aware of it, that they're taking advantage of you. It might be hard to have that vulnerable conversation with them. But I do see you getting to that space where you come to the table with a lot of love and you really try to work through things. If that suits, obviously, there's going to be situations where it simply is not doable. It's not workable. But I do think you come to the table with a very honest, open, this is how it is. This is what I need to continue to pour myself into this. And so those conversations are had. I think there's an opening of the heart space here, and things come back into balance between you and this other person. It really is a unity and an agreement to, okay, let's change the dynamic. So I do get a lot of reciprocity after this kind of open conversation that happens. I really do think that something aligns here, that this other person really shares your feelings, or at least comes to the table as an equal. And I think the relationship is deeper for it. So I think, yeah, with that conversation, I think it really smooths things over and it helps you both reconnect in a way. Now, this doesn't have to be a love situation. This could be a friendship. This could be a family member, or a boss, for example, or a business partner. I do think that there's a good sense of really passionate movement forward. So it's like, oh, okay, yes, I really value our friendship, or I really value as an employee, and I didn't realize this. Thank you for sharing. And let's rectify the situation. How can we make this work? So there's definitely looking out into the future of how sustainable is this, and let's make decisions together that can help us move forward in a way that is moving in the same direction at an equal pace and rate. So that's really good to see. But I do think it has to come from both sides, so I will just say that. It can't just be you showing up and having nothing change, or you showing up and having to be the one to change. It's about both parties. Kind of looking in the same direction, looking at the future of what you both want together, and kind of moving in that direction. What do we need to do? What actions do we need to take? Yeah, okay. So this could be of a partner that neglected you in some way, or didn't, again, not taken advantage of you, but taken you for granted. Something had you stressed out, though. So it's almost like, for some of you, I'm getting very strong energy that you found out that somebody was sneaking around behind your back. Or now that doesn't necessarily mean an affair. It could be they had a secret bank account, or they, I don't know, was spending money that you didn't know you had, etc. Or spending money on things that maybe you didn't know. It's kind of, yeah, there's something about you worrying about something, maybe even feeling like you knew that something was going on, and something just wasn't feeling right or balanced, like the books weren't balancing, or the budget wasn't balanced, something wasn't balancing here, and it really got you worried about it. So you ruminated on your own for a very long time, to the point where it felt like it was never going to end, like this is always going to be the way that it is. Definitely some scattered energy with the Knight of Wands, so this could very well be connected to a partner, a love partner, a romantic partner. But it could just be you showing up in this dynamic that feels unbalanced and wanting to step away from it, of not wanting to move ahead in the way that you have. And that gave you a lot of worry, because you knew some decisions had to be made and you just didn't want to face that. You knew that this was going to be a very difficult conversation. Queen of Cups. But for some reason, I see you doing things in spite of the fear. Yes. Queen of Cups. Yeah, you're closing some... even though it feels pretty big. I'm sure it feels pretty big to you. You've definitely come to the table with your truth of the matter. And you're also coming to the table with your... yeah, just your openness, your honesty. You're very clear about how you feel here. And that significantly changes the dynamic of something here. It helps you tie up a loose end that has been hanging on for some time. It's been a loose thread that's just been flapping in the wind, and you've had to tie it up and deal with it. This is it. June is going to be the month where you deal with it. And when you do, even though you might have fear of doing something here, you approach this with a sense of, this is going to free me regardless of the results. This is going to kind of relieve me from this mental burden because it needs to be said. I cannot keep these thoughts, these words to myself anymore. I have to share them. So you find a really grounded place to do that, and I think it really shifts things. It offers you a sense of freedom. It offers you a sense of closure. So that's really beautiful. So let's look at the Two of Cups now. Two of Cups. King of Wands. That's lovely. Okay, so interesting. I see some kind of marriage here. What's interesting is that these two look like they're being married by the King of Wands, but that doesn't have to be the case specifically. I do almost wonder if it has something to do... Oh, interesting. I'm getting another storyline here of somebody sneaking around behind their father's backs. Now, a lot of you are probably moved out of your house, so this probably doesn't apply, but this almost feels like a secret love. And that's the imbalance, is that you really want to share this love with people. But I don't know if there's shame or if there's some reason why you can't share your love. It's almost like this love in isolation, and maybe you're kind of sneaking around and not wanting people to know about this love. And I don't know why, but this almost feels like you're now coming out in a way. You're now sharing with people. And there's a confidence here. It's almost like you're sharing with the people that you respect most. And yeah, there's just a beautiful confidence coming through here of, this is who I love, and we've been going out for 6 months or 2 years or whatever it is. And yeah, we love each other. And so that kind of comes through here. Regardless, though, I really feel like there's a stability and, again, more closure here. So you're able to really find a process that works. Find what actions are kind of most aligned with your dual vision, with your mutual vision of where you would like to take things. And you're taking it forward in a very confident way with a lot of will and integrity. And I do think it creates a lot of stability and structure within the relationship. It could even be the start of a family for some, but also an integration into the family as well, if that works. For others, this could be the start of a very successful business. But overall, I feel you're able to build up on something here for the long-term future, because there's been some wisdom gained from a certain something that felt a little off-kilter or out of balance. So that's really cool to see. Your June is going to be a very significant month. Okay, why? Number 31. I almost wonder if that's what you're questioning, is why does it have to be this way? And again, this person is looking at a book. So there's something that you'd like to learn, something that you'd like to understand. So you're asking the hard questions. You're maybe even sharing it very vulnerably with people, like, why do we have to do things this way? Or why is things in this way? Can we change it? Can we adapt or adjust? Or can we do this together? So that's definitely great to see, that mutual effort coming through at the end of June. This is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 3. I hope that offered some clarity. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon.